y equals negative 3 sine a half theta plus 3 pi over 2 minus 2. I'm going to do everything the same this time as last time. So the amplitude of this is 3. The vertical displacement is down 2. So I know then the maximum is going to be the vertical displacement plus the amplitude, which is negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Minimum, negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. So the scale, because it's got a pretty wide range and I got to get down to negative 5, I'm not really going to mess around. I'm just going to keep it, each square is 1 unit. So there's 5 and negative 5. Now I can figure out the horizontal components. Its phase shift is 3 pi over 2 to the left. The period is 2 pi over a half. Invert and multiply. So a half when you flip it is 2. So 2 pi times 2 is 4 pi. The key points are pi over 2 times a half, which is just pi, because 2 times a half is 1. So it's pi over 1, which is just pi. The common denominator then between 3 pi over 2 and pi over 1 is 2. So I'm just going to use a scale of pi over 2. So a scale of pi over 2 means every 2 squares is pi. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 pi. 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 pi. So each of those is 2 squares apart. Going to the left, there's 0. Then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's negative 5 pi. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's negative 10 pi. So now we can dot in the vertical displacement, which is 2 down. So there's the vertical displacement. And then I'm going to dot in 3 above and 3 below that line is the amplitude. Nice thing about the 1-to-1 scale is you don't really have to think. It's just 1, 2, 3 squares above, 1, 2, 3 squares below. Now I want to mark the phase shift. So it's 3 pi over 2 to the left. So that's just 3 squares to the left. And now I can start. I know my sine curve starts in the middle, but the problem this time is the negative in front, which means all the highs and lows switch. So for sine, it's going to go middle, low, high, middle, low. So now I'm just going to figure out my key points are pi apart, which is like 2 pi over 2. So it's every 2 squares. I'm going to have a key point. And just follow the pattern. So there's middle, then it's going to go low, middle, high, middle, low, middle, high, middle, low, middle, high, and it can just keep on going forever. To work it to the left, make sure you flip the lows and the highs. So it goes middle, high, middle, low, middle, high, middle, low, middle, and now you just got to connect all the points and we're done. Don't forget the arrows on the ends. And if you want to check just between any 2 maximums, count the number of squares in between, and we can figure out if the period, usually I just check the period to make sure the period is right. So it should be 4 pi. So I'm going to go from that first maximum to the right to the second maximum to the right. And it looks like that's 8 squares, which is 8 pi over 2, which is 4 pi, which is correct.